Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another episode of Healthzone with Gilbert Cheah. My name is Gilbert Cheah. I'm the editor of Healthzone Singapore, a Facebook page that's dedicated to covering health and wellness issues specifically from a Singapore and regional perspective. So, last week I shared information about the dangers of child obesity and how many parents actually cannot tell that their own children are overweight or obese. In this week's episode, I'll tell you about other health threats to your children, which you probably aren't aware of, and what you should do to protect them. So whether you're a parent or expecting kids, don't miss this episode as the information is so important for your child's long-term health. The number one health threat that I want to talk about today that many people overlook, and overlook is a key term here, is protect their eyesight. Now, do your children wear glasses? If they don't, it's likely that they will need them soon. Half of Singapore's children need to wear corrective eyeglasses for myopia or short-sightedness by the time they reach 12 years of age. And Singapore has the highest rate of child short-sightedness in the world, with 34% of children under 9 needing glasses. Although myopia is common in many Asian countries, Singapore actually has the highest number, considerably more than countries such as Taiwan and Hong Kong. And our children's eyesight is actually getting worse, with higher degrees of myopia affecting younger and younger children. Now, while myopia may have a genetic cause, lifestyle and environmental factors are playing a bigger role today in the development of childhood vision problems. And that shouldn't surprise any of us, as children today are spending more time than ever before staring at books and especially at screens, whether it's televisions, laptops, tablets, or phones. And busy parents and caregivers find it all too easy to plot a screen in front of their child to occupy them or keep them quiet, especially during meal times or while the parents need to work and need some quiet time. And this is in addition to all the hours that kids are already using screens to do their schoolwork. So, although myopia is not the worst eye problem that children and adults face from using electronic screens, there are even more severe problems that can come up, such as macular degeneration and even blindness that can result over the years. And this is because blue light waves that are emitted from the screens can severely damage eyes over time. A research team of optical chemists at the University of Toledo found that blue light that comes from the screens kills off photoreceptor cells in the retina of the eye that the body is unable to regenerate. The researchers wrote that we are being exposed to blue light continuously, and the eye's cornea and lens cannot block or reflect it. Blue light harms our vision by damaging the eye's retina, and these photoreceptor cells in our eyes do not regenerate. When they are dead for good. Children who start to use computers, tablets, and phones at an early age are exposed to the blue light for a much longer period in their lives and will sustain more damage to their eyes over the years. The damage to the retina builds up through time, so neither you nor your children will realize the effects now. But this is the problem. When they get older, they may face serious vision problems that were brought on from their activity in their younger years. So it is crucial that parents and all caregivers understand the danger of blue light from screens and take steps to protect their children's eyes. This is so important. So what can you do? How can you protect your children's eyes? Now, obviously, using electronic screens is an essential part of our lives and cannot be avoided. But there are steps that you can take and must take to protect the children's eyes even while using screens. And this must start as soon as the child begins looking at a screen, which, as we know, is very young. First of all, if your device has the option, and most do, turn on the night view filter and keep it on all the time. This filter will give the screen a slightly yellow tinge, which will cut down on the amount of blue light reaching your eyes. You can also get eyeglasses and spectacles fitted with a blue light protector, which filters out the blue light. If your children wear glasses, make sure to get them made with a blue light filter. It's also important to make sure that your children are viewing screens in a well-lit room and not in the dark. Staring at a screen in the dark intensifies its light, as the eye's pupils will open wider in a darker environment. Whenever possible, reduce your child's screen time, especially before bedtime. In addition to the vision issues, the blue light also suppresses melatonin, which is the body's natural sleep-inducing hormone. And this can lead to difficulty falling asleep and disrupted sleep patterns, which you definitely don't want either. Now, while screen use for schoolwork is necessary, do pay attention to how much time your child spends staring at a screen aside from schoolwork. Don't automatically use the TV or tablet as a babysitter for long periods. The other thing you have to realize is that TV watching is a very passive activity that does not stimulate the brain. It actually sedates it. A child's verbal proficiency, reasoning, and other intellectual abilities actually shrinks from passively viewing a screen. And as TV viewing is generally sedentary and solitary, it also denies children many health benefits that they need of physical activity and socialization. Now, experts recommend that parents take the TV and computer out of the child's bedroom and place them in the living room so you can keep track of how much time your child is spending staring at the screen. Set a daily or weekly TV time limit and stick with it. Experts suggest a maximum of 2 hours of TV time a day for children aged 2 and older. Plan activities to replace TV time and arrange fun activities that will help wean children out of the TV habit. Now, the second threat to your child's health that you may not be thinking much about, which I want to talk about, is the importance of strengthening their immune system. Helping a child develop a strong and resilient immune system is one of the most important things you can do for them. A person's immune system plays a huge role in their health and longevity. We know that the immune system fights infections from the outside, such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and other pathogens that make us sick. But did you know that the immune system also fights internal threats to our well-being, such as cancer cells that develop inside the body? So there are many factors that affect how robust and healthy a person's immune system is. And some of these factors take place even before a child is born. As soon as the baby comes out of the mother's body, it is greeted with trillions of viruses, bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms that can be either helpful or harmful. And to help the baby prepare for this onslaught, the mother's body actually transfers her own antibodies to their babies through the placenta. This is why it's so important for pregnant women to be in good health and also to have had all of the vaccines against common illnesses. The vaccine gives the mother the antibodies that are needed to fight disease. And once the mother has these antibodies, she passes them on to her infant. Now, these antibodies won't last long in the baby's body, but it will help protect the baby until the child is old enough to get his own vaccinations. The mother's antibodies offer a short-term but very crucially important coverage of the baby from birth until it gets its own vaccinations. Without the mother's antibodies, an infant will be susceptible to many illnesses that can be very harmful. The other very important way that a mother gives the child immunity is through the actual delivery itself. See, the womb is a sterile environment, so the child has no exposure to any bacteria, viruses, or other microorganisms. But when a baby goes through the birth canal, it is covered with millions of the mother's own bacteria, which enter the child's body. These bacteria are very important and beneficial to the baby as it will settle into the baby's body and stimulate the baby's own immune responses. In effect, the mother's body is teaching the baby's system how to recognize and fight off dangerous pathogens and which microorganisms are helpful and which are beneficial and which are harmful. Now, however, this important transfer of mother's bacteria to baby does not take place if the mother has a cesarean delivery. The baby does not go through the birth canal and does not receive the mother's bacteria, which is very important for its health. So this may explain why cesarean-born children suffer more frequently from chronic immune system-linked diseases compared to babies who are born vaginally. Researchers have found actually that infants delivered by C-section had more than double the risk of developing food allergies and asthma by their third birthdays than babies born vaginally. This is why doctors advise that babies should only be delivered by C-section when it is absolutely medically necessary, and it should never be the default method of delivery. This is an important issue because the number of C-section births has been growing steadily through the years across the world. And unlike what is commonly thought, a C-section is not a simple surgery, but it's actually a major operation that carries greater risks than a vaginal birth. Common risks include infection, bleeding that may require transfusions, and blood clots in the legs. Not only is it less safe for the mother, we now know that C-section deliveries also can have a negative effect on the child's long-term health. Now, if you have a child who is born by C-section, it is all the more important that you ensure his or her immune systems develop well. Aside from the birth method, there are other many factors that contribute to this, and I'm going to outline some for you. 1. Make sure they have a healthy diet that is high in fruits and vegetables, especially those that are high in carotenoids. And these are immunity-boosting phytonutrients. Many studies have shown that phytonutrients play an important role in strengthening the immune system and can also protect against cancer and heart disease in adulthood. So look for fruits and vegetables that are red, yellow, and orange, such as tomatoes, carrots, peppers, squash, sweet potatoes, peaches, mangoes, melons, citrus fruits, and berries, as well as dark green leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, bok choy, broccoli, Swiss chard, and romaine lettuce. Make sure your children get 5 servings of any of these foods every day. Now, a serving size is about 1 cup for older children and about 2 tablespoons for toddlers. Third way of strengthening their immune system is to breastfeed the baby. There is nothing you can feed your child that's better than breast milk, which contains powerful immunity-enhancing antibodies and white blood cells that are very important for an infant's development and health. Nursing a baby also helps protect it from many ailments, including ear infections, diarrhea, pneumonia, meningitis, and even urinary tract infections. Breastfeeding doesn't just protect the baby's health now, it has long-term benefits that will last through his or her life. Studies show that it may also enhance your baby's brain power and help protect it against diabetes, Crohn's disease, colitis, and even certain forms of cancer later in life. It's very important to begin breastfeeding as soon as the baby is born. This is because the mother's body produces a very special compound in the first few days after birth that's known as colostrum. And this is a different substance than regular breast milk. It's thicker and more yellow in color, and its composition is different too, as it's tailored to your newborn's specific needs. Colostrum is highly concentrated, protein-rich, and nutrient-dense. It's also low in fat, easy to digest, and it's full of compounds that start off the baby's development in the best possible way. And perhaps even more importantly, it plays a crucial role in building the baby's immune system. Experts recommend that babies should be breastfed exclusively for the first 6 months of life. Now, if that isn't possible, aim to breastfeed for at least the first 2 to 3 months, especially if your baby was born by C-section. Now, the third health threat that parents need to be aware of and they need to do is to make sure that you don't coop your children up. And what do I mean by this? Many Asian parents want to keep their kids clean and neat and frown upon children playing in the grass, mud, or dirt. But believe it or not, you could actually be depriving them of building a strong immune system by keeping them clean all the time. And this is because experts have discovered that children who play outdoors and who are exposed to dirt, mud, animals, insects, plants, and other forms of nature have stronger immunity and fewer allergies. And studies have shown that the wealthy countries have a higher rate of allergies and asthma because children in these societies lack exposure to bacteria and other microorganisms as they grow up. Interestingly, it's been found that the children who grew up in homes with dogs also have a lower risk for developing asthma and allergies because of the diversity of microbes that the dogs are bringing into the homes. Now, why is it important for your babies and young children to be exposed to microorganisms? Simply put, the human body needs to learn early on how to identify different types of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and to learn which ones are beneficial and safe and which ones are not. Exposure to a rich variety of microorganisms during the first 3 months of life helps to train a baby's immune system so that it doesn't become overly sensitive later on in life. You see, an allergy is actually our own immune system attacking something it should not be attacking because it has not been calibrated properly. So while you do want to make sure your children observe important hygiene habits, such as washing their hands often, don't try to shelter them from contact with nature or pets or the world at large. Being exposed to the world when they are children is crucial to their long-time health. So that's it for this week. And what I've covered basically are some of the important threats to your children that you need to know about. We'll be covering more of these topics in the weeks ahead. So thank you for joining us for this week. Please do subscribe, like, and comment, and tell us what you'd like to see in another episode of Health Zone with Gilbert Cheah. Thanks for joining us, and stay safe and be healthy.